What's up? We're back again. Hello guys, we're heading home from the gym right now. I wanted to share a quick thought about how we're going into the whole minimal viable service delivery. So I was pulling from Consulting Accelerator by Sam Ovens, a masterpiece of a consulting course, and one of the modules in there was talking about minimal viable service delivery, and he talks about how you can use the 80-20 formula to basically strip down your offer into the simplest form of components that would deliver the result for what the niche wants. And Sam and I are having to do that because we're pretty much pressed with time right now because we got to get pretty much somewhat of a service delivery put together right now. So we're going to be testing it and coming up together with some form of written contract or agreement to basically pilot test this offer and really pilot test the delivery with no true expectations. Obviously, we're measuring some benchmarks and there's some variables to the service delivery. Sam Ovens was using an analogy where he talked about, like, if you have a service, if you have a product or a business, think about it like a bag, right? Say you have a bag, you go to the grocery store, or maybe even you go to Amazon, right? You go to buy something, right? Now inside that bag, whatever you put in there, whether it's one thing, two things, three things, four, it don't matter, give me more. But, no, I'm just joking. So if you think about it like this, guys, whatever you put in that bag is going to produce a result, right? So I was using the example of the grocery store. So think about if you're trying to do a cleanse, or you're trying to do, like a juice fast, or you're trying to up your protein, or you're trying to get a result, an effect. And the idea that I want to kind of open up to you is when it comes to the effect, you're going to need certain things in that bag to create that effect, hence service delivery. So what Sam Ovens says is you want to be really selective of what goes in that bag. So say I'm trying to, stop eating like bad food. Bad food's subjective, but like, let's just say like I don't want to eat food that's going to make me bloated for just 1 week. Now, let's pretend inside of my environment I don't have any food and I'm going to go get food with the bag. So if I go get, a bunch of good lean beef, some eggs, some super anti-inflammatory food, and then, say I put all that in the bag, 3 items, and then, I start putting some bread in that bag, and I put some, jelly donuts, and I put some, mouth-watering cookies, and like a whole bunch of stuff, it's going to screw up the result, right? Like, I'm going to be tempted, I might not fully commit to it because I'm going to be living in an environment with the food. So if you think about the bag analogy, think about what you're putting in your service delivery that's creating the effect or the result for the client, the customer, whatever have you. And think about what doesn't really need to be in that bag. That's the whole premise of this idea around minimal viable service delivery, is you want the minimal viable bag of processes or whatever have you that's going to create the result. We're plugging in variables and components that we hypothesize that are going to create the result, and then run the test and then see what happens from iteration. But that's all you can really do, right? This is like the rawest form of building an offer in real time in the minimalist, viablest way. We're just putting some items in the bag, and we're going to ship the bag, and we're going to see how it goes, and then we're going to add over time. And that's the thing, is you don't just have a bag once, the bag stays as is and that's it forever, right? No, you want to update the bag. You want to make sure that, if you get like green apples one day, next time, and you find a better way of doing it, you're like, oh my God, there's organic green apples, or there's like better ways to do what has worked, like you want to be really selective without diluting the result with items in the bag that are not going to create the effect. So that's what we're doing today. That is where we're at. I'm sure over time, we're going to talk about this more and make more content on, what's in the bag, Ryan, what's the secret, what's the service delivery. Like, I couldn't really in full confidence tell you guys, because it's something that needs to be proven, we're going to have to test it, we're going to have to iterate off of it. But what I think is most exciting above all is we finally have somewhat of a service delivery where we could answer a little bit more of a technical question. You know, I think that's the thing when it comes to consulting, is everybody in their own way, shape, and form has to have some form of technicality of explaining the cause and effect of the effects of the groceries that are in the bag, or the items, whatever have you, that are in the bag, and what they're going to do, what type of result that it's going to generate, how it's going to affect that person for purchasing that bag. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Tomorrow's the big day. We're going to pretty much figure out which direction we're going to need to go for the items that are going to be in the bag, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot to spin around tomorrow, but I'll just keep updating you guys as we go, keep checking in and sharing some ideas and values and whatnot. But that's pretty much it. I'm going to be tuning back in to Consulting Accelerator for the rest of my drive home, get ready for bed, and we got another big day tomorrow. So all right guys, that is it for today. Let's see you tomorrow. All right, bye bye.